Well, indeed, good evening. You're just in time for comprehensive news coverage on Prime Edition, KBC Channel 1 on the 27th of March 2024, the eve that the WRC rally is going to usher. Actually, we're going to be ushering the WRC rally tomorrow by none other than President William Ruto. I'm Regina Manyara. We have so much in store for you tonight, so do keep it right here. But first things first, let's have a look at the highlights.
We also call upon the doctors who are on strike to go back to work, failure to which the respective county governments who are their employers will be at liberty to take any appropriate action or disciplinary action.
Feeling the pain, governors threaten disciplinary action against striking doctors.
Too much talk around succession in the party, which would be destructive or distracting to the party.
Hold your horses. ODM chairman cautions former governors Joho and Oparanya to go slow on party succession. And the face of graft. An EACC survey ranks the Ministry of Interior as the most corrupt in the country.
Good evening, this is Prime Edition. I'm Regina Manyara, and my colleague in sign language is none other than Lady Lucy Moura. Now, striking doctors face disciplinary action from the county government if they do not resume duty as soon as possible. The Council of Governors, while declining to specify the exact disciplinary measures, noted that the industrial action, now in its second week, is threatening to completely paralyze medical services in the public health facilities.
The stalemate between striking doctors and the Ministry of Health continues, even as governors urge the medics to resume work.
We also call upon the doctors who are on strike to go back to work, pursuant to the court orders issued on 13th March 2024 and 15th March 2024, failure to which the respective county governments who are their employers will be at liberty to take any appropriate action or disciplinary action.
The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union wants 19 issues addressed, including delayed posting of interns, extension of contracts for universal health coverage staff, payment of fees for doctors on postgraduate training, and payment of arrears of basic salaries as per 2017 collective bargaining agreement. The Council of Governors says 10 of these demands have been addressed.
We urge all doctors across all counties to accept the goodwill that has been extended by both the national and county governments to negotiate and ensure that there is a win-win sustainable solution.
Currently, negotiations between the Ministry of Health, KMPDU and other stakeholders are ongoing. This even as the Kenya National Union of Medical Laboratory Officers and Kenya Union of Clinical Officers threaten to also go on strike. Kasichana Masha, Prime Edition.
Day 15 of the strike, who will blink first? Now, the Ministry of Interior has been ranked as the most corrupt in the country, according to a survey by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. The report made public Wednesday further indicates that Kenyans part with an average of 11,000 shillings to bribe to access services in the said ministry. The anti-graft agency says the survey held in December 2023 is based on a sample of 5,100 households in all the 47 counties.
On behalf of all the public servants.
The report launched on Wednesday at the Integrity Center revealed how the vice has permeated in crucial institutions meant to serve the populace. The national average bribe in the country has tripled, with many Kenyans seeking services, willing or participating in the vice to be served. Ministry of Interior ranks top, followed by Health, Transport, Defence, Education and Lands. The National Police Service, Immigration, Register of Persons, Public Health, Department of Education and the National Land Commission are the departments perceived to be corrupt.
There has been an argument. The police, the immigration, the county government, they will tell you, oh, we are always at the top because we are the most interactive people with the public.
According to the damning report, on average, respondents paid the largest amount of bribe to the National Transport and Safety Authority at 81,801 shillings. Other public institutions where service seekers had to pay large bribe amounts to access services were the judiciary at 49,611, the Kenya Bureau of Standards KEBS at 40,000 Kenya shillings, and the county government offices at 26,223 shillings. Based on the survey undertaken in December 2023, West Pokot County respondents paid the largest amount of bribe at 56,695 shillings, followed by Nairobi at 37,768 shillings, Murang'a and Kisii at 18,378 shillings.
The President decried the high levels of wastage, of pilferage, of outright theft, of corruption as some of the evils and practices that are eroding our economic capacity.
The full report is already available on the EACC website. You can rush there to have close scrutiny on that particular report. Now, fatalities resulting from road accidents in the country increased to 1,090 in the period up to 24th March this year, as compared to 1,012 in the same period in 2023. Meanwhile, the National Transport and Safety Authority officials on Wednesday impounded 1,000 motor vehicles for non-compliance with traffic rules. Joseph Wahungu reports.
Ahead of Easter weekend, National Transport and Safety Authority, in conjunction with police officers, on Wednesday nabbed tens of motorists flouting traffic regulations along Desta area in Athi River, the Garissa-Nairobi Highway, Embu-Nairobi Road, and in Kisii County. The multi-agency team also detained and charged over 30 pedestrians accused of failure to use footpaths and footbridges in GWM area along Mombasa Road.
This is not a one-time event. We started this exercise in February as a continuous joint engagement to support the National Police Service, to provide technical support and also support for data retrieval to ensure that safe roads are there.
According to data from NTSA, deaths from road accidents increased to 1,090 between January and March 24th this year, as compared to 1,012 over the same period last year. Pedestrians led in fatalities at 403 compared to 343 recorded in 2023. 260 motorcyclists perished compared to 276 last year. The data also revealed that 233 passengers lost their lives in road crashes in 2024 compared to 178 in 2023. 84 drivers died in road accidents, a decrease from 100 last year. 92 pillion passengers lost their lives, 4 less than witnessed over the same months last year. For Prime Edition, I'm Joseph Wahungu.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has urged the Ministry of Education and the Teacher Service Commission to jointly establish a technical team to lead implementation of the recommendations of the Presidential Working Party on education reforms. Speaking during a meeting with the leadership of the two institutions in Nairobi, Rigathi said the parallel reforms are counterproductive.
Addressing the Ministry of Education and Teacher Service Commission officials at his official residence in Karen, Nairobi, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said the technical team will spearhead a common strategy in implementing education reforms while safeguarding the respective roles of the Ministry of Education, the TSC, and other stakeholders.
Why I called this meeting so that we establish a technical committee to sit down and bring order and sanity in the approach of the process so that we don't work separately, because that will not help us.
Rigathi said duplicate approaches risk derailing education reforms. He underscored the pivotal role transforming the education sector plays in supporting development.
There is success when people work together. It helps a lot when we all pull in the same direction. People may have divergent opinions, but there should be a forum where all those divergent opinions are brought together, harmonized, and then we get a common good. So muendelee, mutakubaliana, si ndio?
While acknowledging that the TSC is an independent constitutional commission and the Ministry of Education is under the executive, Rigathi implored both of them to cooperate in actualizing the country's educational goals.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has called on politicians across the country to refrain from politicizing the ongoing government efforts aimed at curbing illicit alcohol, narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances trade in the country, saying that the law enforcement matter and it is not a political issue. Kindiki, who on Wednesday toured the coastal region, says the government is working to enhance capacity of the Kenyan Coast Guard and the Kenyan Navy for effective patrol of the country's territorial waters.
Mombasa, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki visited the Miritini Drug Treatment and Rehabilitation Center, which is being renovated at a cost of 1.3 billion shillings.
We are also thinking as a ministry, those patients who are fully treated and they have the proper skills, we're going to establish a small fund to give them startup capital to go back home and start being productive again.
The CS used the opportunity to caution those politicizing the government's crackdown of illicit brews consumption, drug and substance abuse.
I've asked our brothers and sisters who are politicians to keep off this matter. It's a law enforcement matter. And leave the law enforcement agencies of the state to do their mandate. It's not a political issue. We are not in a political process of either punishing or rewarding anybody.
In Kilifi County, Kindiki announced that the national government will cater for transport expenses for the families that have been cleared to move the bodies of their loved ones from Malindi Sub-County Mortuary.
The national government will support the families that are unable to transport their loved ones so that they can bury the remains decently. We will support them to be able to transport their loved ones.
He further said the government will use part of Chakama Ranch, where the Shakahola massacre occurred, to bury unidentified bodies and build a memorial park.
ODM Party Chairman John Mbadi has read the Riot Act on his two deputies, Hassan Joho and Wycliffe Oparanya, on their campaigns to lead the party. Mbadi says recent actions and utterances by ODM politicians regarding successions are not in the best interest of the party. Mbadi has also hinted at deferring the party's election, that were scheduled for next month.
Pwani ambao mumesema kwamba Joho tosha, tutoke hapa mbele pamoja na leader wetu Hassan Ali Joho, mupeperushe katika kila mitandao.
Ikiwa Kenya ni moja, tuepukane na ukabila. Party leader wa ODM ni Joho.
These endorsements by ODM MPs at the cost of former Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho to succeed Raila Odinga at the Orange Party have countered those of their colleagues in Western Kenya who have rallied behind former Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya. This contest, according to ODM Chair John Mbadi, does not augur well for the party.
I have addressed our members to exercise caution, restraint, and understand that this party has been built over the years based on certain principles, and one of which is consensus, discussion, deliberations, exercising patience.
Mbadi implored his two deputy party leaders, Joho and Oparanya, to restrain their ambitions. The intense succession politics at the Orange Party now threatens another postponement of its grassroots elections that were scheduled for next month.
Too much talk around succession in the party, which would be destructive or distracting to the party in terms of executing its mandate, which we all know, the mandate of ODM as the leading opposition party in this country.
Raila Odinga's bid for the African Union Commission chairperson has ignited a scramble to succeed him at the helm of ODM Party that puts its unity at risk. Gishoki Washira, Prime Edition.
Herbal is formulated from a unique blend of natural herbs and is scientifically proven to strengthen teeth and keep gums healthy. Try Colgate Herbal, scientifically proven for strong teeth and healthy gums. Colgate Charcoal, the charcoal toothpaste you can trust.
Multi-bonus. Zidisha ushindi wako hadi 1,000,000 na multi-bonus 1,000%. Kuwa mshindi. Mozartbet.
Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is Kenya's most trusted news and entertainment brand. Grow your business, acquire more clients, and reach new, diverse audiences by advertising with us. We connect brands to audiences that matter, driving results for brands and enhancing your current marketing strategies. We have packages for all needs, and no product is too small for us. Contact us today and capitalize on our combined power of radio, TV, and digital platforms. KBC, connecting Kenyans.
You're still watching Prime Edition on KBC Channel 1. Now, family, friends and colleagues of the late Rita Tinina congregated at Nursupeni Farm in Oriokiai, Narok County to pay their last respect to the celebrated journalist whose career in journalism spans for 3 decades. Different speakers who spoke at the funeral eulogized Rita as a resourceful and passionate media professional. Rita died on the 17th of March and after a bout of severe pneumonia.
Esumba Muden Governor Spain Farm in Olokiri Kirai, Narok County, during the final send-off of NTV journalist Rita Tinina. Speaker after speaker eulogized the late Tinina as a journalist whose resilience and dedication to her work will inspire many.
Her commitment to her work was unparalleled. She was a pillar of strength and a source of comfort to us.
Inauma sana kwa sababu hata ishuka nilioivaa tulinunua na Rita, assignment yetu ya mwisho.
In his tribute to Tinina, read by Emmanuel Talam, President William Ruto eulogized the NTV reporter as an excellent journalist and storyteller truly committed to her work.
When Rita came to KIMC, because we joined KIMC the same time, same day, same class, I thought she was going to be my wife.
During the burial, the youth were urged to emulate Rita's remarkable virtues if they want success in their endeavors.
Alikuwa mtu mnyenyekevu. Unajua mara nyingi watu wakifanikiwa maishani, wakipata umaarufu wa aina fulani, watu wanaanza kuwa na kiburi, lakini Rita hakuwa na haya.
Hata ingawa ni wakati wa huzuni, ikifika wakati huu na kwa mazishi kuna vitu vizuri vinasemwa kuhusu yule anayezikwa, nafikiri inarudishia jamii heshima yake.
Rita is survived by a daughter, Timothy Kipnusu, for Prime Edition.
May her soul continue resting in peace. Now, the Public Health Department is seeking 350 million shillings to fast-track the operationalization of the Central Radioactive Waste Management Facility to prevent the accumulation of radioactive waste. According to the Ministry of Health, Kenya generates between 3,000 and 4,000 tons of waste per day, with Nairobi alone contributing between 2,000 and 2,500 tons daily, including potentially radioactive materials which require urgent attention.
Speaking while on a tour of the facility by members of the Departmental Committee on Health of the National Assembly, Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni cautioned that exposure to high levels of radiation from waste could lead to severe health consequences, including cancer and cardiovascular diseases.
By nuclear components really is a health hazard across the globe, in Kenya, and in our hospitals. There's too much of it, and we must regulate to ensure that our people, the environment that we live in, either in issues personal, environmental, or even in areas facilities in our health facilities, then we will be able to ensure that the regulation of the same is followed and the standards are there across the country.
The Central Radioactive Waste Management Facility in Ololua, Kajiado County, constructed in 2010 and commissioned in 2022, requires 350 million shillings to fully optimize.
The committee we've asked them to give us a detailed funding plan. What is it they want to do? And they'll appear before the committee in a week's time together with the PS so that they can explain to us that phase 2, what does it encompass? Because we need it to be very clear.
Once operational, the facility will operate as an interim storage and processing facility for radioactive waste.
To the corridors of justice, where a Milimani Magistrate Court is set to conduct a site visit on 1,040 acres of land in Naivasha, Nakuru County, allegedly owned by Ebru Hills Land Limited, which is at the center of an ownership dispute. Trial Magistrate Gilbert Shikwa gave the directions following a request from lawyers acting on behalf of 33 people who claim to reside on the land and have been charged for malicious damage to property. Led by immediate former Law Society of Kenya President Eric Theuri, the defense lawyers further said they will be seeking direction from the High Court concerning which jurisdiction has the mandate to determine the matter. The lawyers claim their clients have been presented in 2 courts in Kajiado and Nairobi counties. 8 of the accused persons are being held at the industrial area prison. The matter will be mentioned on the 29th of May 2024.
To that extent, we ask that you consider for the time being, before we move the High Court and make the necessary communications, that the accused persons be exempted from physical attendance so that they can attend virtually.
The establishment of the court in Naivasha was done very well aware of the Magistrates Act. Number 2, the uniqueness I want to address, Your Honor, is that by us coming to you does not necessarily mean that you have assumed jurisdiction.
The only reason why they have been charged in this matter is to ensure that the local community on the ground and the residents and their families will be unable to oppose the land grabbing scheme.
And colleagues who are in Bunge, you are elected by these people to defend and protect them, not to abandon them.
To counties now. Livestock farmers in Tigania, Meru County have decried the rise of livestock theft in the area. In the latest incident Monday, cattle rustlers invaded the area neighboring Isiolo County and made away with livestock and injured several herders, including police officers. Details of this and other stories in our county news roundup.
Speaking at Ngundune Livestock Market in Tigania East, the herders accused police of laxity in dealing with the livestock theft menace.
Tafadhali naomba serikali yetu ya Kenya. Katiba yetu inasema ni lazima ulinde mtu na haki yake na vitu yake ile ako naye.
However, their colleagues in Domuru in Igembe North are happy lot after police recovered 215 herds of cattle of the 300 that were stolen on Tuesday evening. Police battled with the bandits overnight and succeeded in the recovery.
Wafugaji wetu katika gatuzi la Meru watafuga mifugo yao kwa amani. Tutawachunga na tutawalinda. Tuchunguze miongoni mwetu watu ambao wanahusika katika biashara hii haramu. Hao ni majangili. Tupate taarifa, tupambane na wao. Tushikane pamoja, tufanye hii kazi.
On education, more than 5,000 students have benefited from the Ugunja constituency bursary kitty in the current financial year. Area CDF Chair Bernard Omolo said the kitty has so far spent 41 million shillings on the needy students.
We are today disbursing to a total number of applicants 1,742 students. We are disbursing about 13 million.
Now
Now we take a look at the day's business news. My name is Wei Mojenga. A cruise ship carrying 1,700 passengers has docked at the port of Mombasa for a 2-day excursion that is expected to boost the tourism industry ahead of Easter holiday. The tourism ministry says the ultra-modern cruise terminal has played a critical role in the increased number of cruise vessels calling the port of Mombasa.
6 a.m., the passengers alighted from the vessel received with song and dance from traditional dancers. The 1,700 passengers originate from different European countries and are on a 120-day sailing world tour. The tourists will be on a 2-day excursion before disembarking on their next port call in Durban, South Africa. KPA says the port of Mombasa has had a good cruise season, having received a fleet of vessels since the circuit began in September last year.
So we are aware many of them will be visiting our hotels. They'll be doing a lot of purchases, and that therefore impacts very, very significantly to the economy.
We arrived from Seychelles, Victoria, Seychelles. Next port of call is Durban before we continue to Cape Town, before we cross the Atlantic to the South America, Brazil. And from there we start to make our way up to Europe and end our cruise 5th of May in Tilbury, London.
Since the completion of the commencement of operations at the terminal, there has been a remarkable surge in growth marked by an increased number of cruise vessels docking at the port. The port has successfully handled 11 cruise ships and now 12 following arrival of MS Ambience.
For Prime Edition from Mombasa County, I am Ann Mburu.
Now, Kenya and Hungary has sealed a number of deals that will deepen bilateral ties under the framework agreement on the financial cooperation worth 6.6 billion shillings. As part of the framework, the two nations have signed a deal for completion of Kabonyo fisheries and aquaculture services that is expected to produce 10 million fingerlings annually, as well as upgrading pumping stations at Ahero irrigation scheme. The two countries are working on a deal worth 4.6 billion shillings for the Dedan Kimathi Cancer Management Center project.
In those areas that these projects will take place, they're going to support economic activity or vibrancy of economic activity. We do believe that they work very well for us. First, especially in the Ahero pumping station, they're going to help us in terms of restocking the fish. And all these are very, very important in terms of their own economic contribution.
Or improving our bilateral cooperation is based on mutual respect and aims at mutual benefits to be reached. The markets here in East Africa provide a huge opportunity for Hungarian companies implementing and applying the state-of-the-art, most modern technologies. Therefore, we do encourage the Hungarian business community to improve its relationship with Kenya.
We asked the children, how many of you brushed this morning? And this little boy, his hand didn't go up. And I said, well, why didn't you brush this morning? He said, my brother was using the toothbrush. If I'd waited for him, I would have been late for school. I'm sorry, I get a bit emotional when it comes to that. To be able to change a child's life, to be able to bring back that confidence about their smile, for me, is phenomenal.
Kwa majina naitwa Beatrice Kimai na mimi ndio nilikuwa mshindi wa Suzuki Wagon R Jenge na Moti. Siri nilikuwa nilicheza, nikacheza na nikamwamini Mungu na nikawa mshindi. Pia sasa hivi bado naendelea kucheza na naamini nitakuwa mshindi wa hili gari.
31st of December 2023, Beatrice alikabidhiwa na kifunguu kama mshindi wa Suzuki Wagon R kwenye campaign ya Jijenge na Moti. Na sasa tuko na Toyota Hiace Siri yake ilikuwa ni moja: alicheza mara kadhaa, akacheza mara kadhaa na akajaza tiketi zake kwenye draw, na bahati ikakuwa ni yake. Sasa uko na fursa ya kuvuka na ma3. Fursa yako kwenye star 570 hash. Ushindi namtangaza the 5th of May mwaka huu. Vuka na ma3.
Cheza Lucky Game na tunakuhakikishia ushindi, na bahati yako itakufikia mahali popote ulipo. Kumbuka kucheza ni star 570 hash.
Welcome to Sensei Institute. Mahali skills zangu ni pesa mkononi. At Sensei College, practical skills is the definition. Accredited by the government and founded on a Christian background, Sensei College offers all-rounded programs that are tailor-made to enhance your skills and give you the future you desire. We offer courses such as interior design, fashion and design, hairdressing and beauty, hospitality courses, trailer driving and defensive driving, building construction technology, CCTV, solar and electrical installation, photography and video production, electronic courses, vehicle electronics and mechanic courses, agricultural mechanics, ICT, and many more. To enroll in any of our campuses in Nairobi and Nakuru, all you need is your national ID card. Mapema ndo best. Take advantage of our monthly intake. Come to kusort na skills. Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Business News. Now, Kamedo Primary School in Siaya County has received a 35 million shilling infrastructure facelift, courtesy of the M-Pesa Foundation. The Information, Communication, Technology and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary, Eliud Owalo, who commissioned the project, challenged the local community to make use of the school to build the future of their children.
The 35 million Kenya shillings from M-Pesa Foundation will go a long way in funding infrastructural upgrade of the local school.
That money will go towards construction of classrooms, both for the ECD and the primary section, administration block, ablution block, ICT laboratory, among others.
Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and Digital Economy, Eliud Owalo, said the world is embracing technology and the new facility will help upgrade their ICT skills. The CS challenged the local community to provide a conducive environment that will enable more donors come to the aid of the institution.
This is a good gesture. It is not easy to get 35 million shillings at one go for upgrade of a school. I want to appeal to the community here to ensure that we have got adequate students in the school and also the students to enhance their performance so that we can reciprocate this good gesture by way of performance.
Meanwhile, the CS will mop up resources for the Nomia Church to set up its headquarters in Oboch, Akala in Siaya County.
Through the Ministry of Culture, the government has given us support to Nomia Church for 53 million shillings for construction of Nabi Johanna Owalo Mausoleum. That tender was advertised by the National Museums yesterday. Within 2 weeks, contractor shall have been procured, and then we move to the next phase of construction of the mausoleum. Then the second phase, the church will be rebuilt. That will be a major, major milestone for this community, because Nomia Church was the first African independent church in Kenya.
Charles Simon, Prime Edition, Kisumu County.
Now, county governments should work closely with tourism marketing agencies to package and market cultural experiences within their area to attract tourists and create jobs and wealth for communities. Tourism Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua cited Bungoma's rich culture showcased through songs and dance as well as food as some of the areas that could be attractive to tourists if properly packaged.
On Wednesday, Tourism Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua was in Bungoma County on the third leg of his countrywide tour dubbed Utalii Fresh. During a meeting with the Bungoma County leadership, Dr. Mutua highlighted some of the strategies that would help drive up tourist numbers to the region.
Watalii wanataka adventure. Wanataka kuja hapa waangalie kama kuna mahali wanaweza enda walk. Wakenya wengi wanapenda kwenda hiking. Tuwajengee center nzuri ya information, tuwajengee choo nzuri, walking path mzuri. Watu watakuja hapa wanaacha pesa hapa Wakenya.
Bungoma has attractions such as the Sangalo Cultural Center, Buteyo Meat Park, Nabuyole Falls, and Mount Elgon, as well as agricultural activities. He committed to support revamping of Matulo Airstrip and marketing of Kamabeka dance, as well as the Luya Cultural Festival.
We want to demonstrate to the world that this part of Kenya also has very good tourist attractions.
The nationwide visit by Dr. Mutua and other officials of key tourism and wildlife institutions target to revitalize tourism numbers across the country throughout the year. The Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife nationwide campaign aimed at reviving the tourism sector in the country would also improve the number of tourists into the country by threefolds. And in Bungoma County, this exercise would improve infrastructural development and job creation in the region. Irene Mchuma Odim, Channel 1 in the county of Bungoma.
Now to a roundup of financial results, Equity Group says its 2023 full-year net profit decreased by 5% to 43.7 billion shillings on account of higher loan loss provision. Equity Group has proposed a dividend payout of 4 shillings per share. Here's a roundup of financial results from some commercial banks.
Equity Group expanded its loan book by 26% to 887.4 billion shillings, while investments in government securities grew 27% to 500.5 billion shillings. Net interest income increased 21% to 104.2 billion shillings, while non-funded income registered a 30% growth to 75.9 billion shillings.
Gives us profit before tax of 43.7 compared to 46 last year, 5%.
Meanwhile, Family Bank made 2.5 billion shillings in 2023 full-year net profit, representing a 13.3% year-on-year increase powered by higher interest income. Interest income on loans and advances increased by 20% to 12.13 billion shillings, while non-interest income grew 19% to 4 billion shillings. Family Group directors have proposed a 30% dividend payout, which translates to 60 cents per share. Finally, NCBA Group PLC has reported 21.5 billion shillings in 2023 full-year net profit, representing a 56% increase that was powered by interest income. Despite the gross non-performing loans increasing 13.9% to 44.55 billion shillings, the lender trimmed its loan loss provision by 29.9% to 9.2 billion shillings. NCBA Group has proposed a final dividend payout of 3 shillings per share that will be paid in May this year. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, Kenya is incentivizing adoption of electric vehicles by offering import duty, VAT and excise duty exemptions, as well as a lower electricity tariff for EV charging stations. Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has announced plans to implement the gradual phased out of fossil-powered vehicles. Murkomen, who was speaking during the launch of the draft National E-Mobility Policy, said special number plates have been rolled out for electric vehicles.
Our implementation strategy is rooted in collaboration and innovation. We are partnering with the private sector, international investors, and academic institutions to build the necessary infrastructure for electric mobility.
We are also working on incentives for EV manufacturers, EV assemblers, especially batteries.
The Kenyan transport sector emissions account for up to 67% of all emissions in the energy sector, and 12% of the national emissions.
We need to develop an integrated and comprehensive policy, legal and regulatory framework to promote the adoption of electric mobility.
Well, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndungu is calling on state agency to properly coordinate their asset to help maximize returns and minimize losses to unlock the full potential of state investment. Here's that report.
The government has invested through all state-owned enterprises to the tune of about 5.7 trillion. But it gets a return of 0.13%. 83.1% of all pending bills come from state-owned enterprises. So on top of raw returns, we also have pending bills that have to be looked at. So we are trying to say, how do we minimize this?
We are seeking to ensure that the assets are working for Kenyans. And we therefore wish to thank KBC board and management, today Waziri, for the gesture to give us dividends, interim dividends of 5.0 billion. However, in line with the asset performance, they could do better.
Well, that marks the end of business news for tonight. We have Karen Kibet, who is doing sports news. My name is Weri Mojenga. Have a good night.
Welcome to Kwale County, the premier destination for Africa's finest beach experience, offering an array of exciting water sports that guarantee an unforgettable stay in Kenya. In addition to the pristine beaches, Kwale boasts a vibrant cultural scene where the rhythms of traditional dances and diverse cultures continue to captivate its visitors. For those seeking a break from the beach and cultural immersion, the untamed wilderness of Shimba National Park provides a glimpse into Kenya's diverse wildlife in their natural habitat. Whether you're here for beaches, cultural experiences, or wildlife encounters, Kwale County welcomes you to indulge in its sandy beaches and beyond.
Mafrendi huyu hapa na anakugoja *570# chagua option namba 4 na ujiingize katika draw ya kuvuka na mafree. Mshindi tunamtangaza 5th of May. Kumbuka ni *570#.
Cheza Lucky Game na tunakuhakikishia ushindi na bahati yako itakufikia mahali popote ulipo. Kumbuka kucheza ni *570#.
The true story of a man named Jesus who lived 2,000 years ago.
Who do you say I am? You are God's Messiah.
Are you the king of the Jews?
This man? A king?
The seed is the word of God. The seeds that fell along the path stand for those who hear. But the devil comes and takes the message away from their hearts in order to keep them from believing and being saved.
I commit my spirit.
If Jesus is king, why are they doing this to him? I don't know.
Good evening. Now we get to the thick of things and have a conversation tonight where we're focusing on a shift from refugee policy, from aid dependency to refugee self-reliance and development. We're talking about moving from encampment to empowerment. And to take us through this conversation tonight is none other than the Commissioner for Refugee Affairs, Mr. John Burugu. Welcome, sir, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's start us off with what is the status report of refugees in the country?
Currently, the country hosts, or it has hosted for the last 3 decades, refugees from the East Africa, the Horn of Africa, and the Great Lakes region. Today, we stand at 744,747. Mainly in Kakuma and Dadaab.
Yes.
But we also have 100,000, over 100,000, who are in the urban areas. That is mainly Nairobi, Eldoret, Mombasa, Nakuru. And that is the population that we have hosted for the last 3 decades. And we run an encampment policy where the 2 camps, Dadaab and Kakuma, host the largest population of the refugee.
Indeed. In that number over the last 3 decades is quite something. And this is where we talk about unpacking the Marshall Plan, what we're referring to as the Shirika Plan.
Yes.
What does it entail?
As you're aware, globally, refugees were initially hosted and received by recipient countries under the UN Convention of 1951.
Yes.
And accorded humanitarian support. However, this has been found to be unsustainable. And in 2018, the Global Compact for Refugees, the countries came together to look at sustainable ways of hosting the refugees. Because the cause of refugee is mainly because of conflicts, others are environmental displacements, others are economic migrants. Migration is in the human character. Yes. And therefore, what we are looking at, however, in our situation as Kenya, is a forced migration because of the protracted conflicts within the region. For us, as having run the encampment policy, we now wish to ensure that there is sustainability, that it is durable, that it is not exerting pressure on the country. Okay. And therefore, the Global Compact for Refugee aimed to ease the pressure on the host countries as well as the host communities. You are aware that in Dadaab and Turkana, the host community are respective Kenyan communities who receive and have also donated the community land to these hosts. So the shift by government is to ensure that there is sustainability in the support that we give to the refugees. So Shirika Plan is a shift in the approach of supporting refugee and management in the country. And that means that we are integrated. We are going to achieve integrated settlements.
Integrated settlements. Now, before we speak integrated settlements, when you look at the encampment policy as envisioned under the Refugees Act of 2021, it also limits movement. So when one hears integration and self-reliance, does this mean then refugees are going to are accorded free movement?
No.
Okay.
Empowerment does not necessarily resort to free movement for refugees. Movement is by need. And when you have services of health, education, water, social protection, environmental intervention and mitigations, as well as empowerment needs, that they are able to meet their basic needs and improve their livelihoods. They don't need to come from wherever they are habited. For example, in Kakuma, we already have a municipality that is already chartered, and therefore, as well as Dadaab. And those 2 municipalities will be upgraded progressively in the next 5 years to have the infrastructure of markets, social services, improvement and expansion of health facilities, as well as other social amenities that are basic markets that will support the socio-economic transformation. More importantly, the government is also moving to ensure that the frameworks in place attract the private sector investment. This means that previously the northern frontier, where we were looking at the security aspects, we are going to enhance security, and in these municipalities, they become commercial hubs where investment by the private sector would find space and therefore create employment and create a commercial enterprise. At the same time, there are other programs that the State Department is running together with support of the World Bank. I will talk about KPIL, that is an intervention on Kenya Primary Area Learning Program. That is a 5-year program, again, that is trying to correct the unequal outcomes of education, where refugees and hosts have not been doing very well.
Exactly, and also looking at one of the challenges that have been cited as affecting refugees is a communication barrier. Now, you've mentioned that you want to somewhat incentivize the private sector to invest in our refugee camps. And what comes to mind right now, looking at government policy and looking at the empowerment aspect of the Shirika Plan, gets me asking, are there plans to have affordable housing within these areas? Because if you're going to improve development and housing, then are we likely to have that?
Yes, we will have affordable housing of sorts, because under the Kenya Urban Support Program 2, KUSIP 2, we have a 50 million grant under World Bank, where the UN Habitat is implementing partner in the upgrade of the facilities. And that means that the houses, the infrastructure, the sewer and all these other areas, it means that the environment of affordable housing is quite ripe, and it is there. And how we are going to actualize that is by the progressive implementation of the Kenya Urban Support Program. Over and above that, the private sector is also welcome to also invest in housing, because land is a finite resource. And the community of Turkana or Dadaab in Garissa cannot continuously be affording land. And as well as, it is a resource that is very sensitive to Kenyans. So the current gazetted camps are adequate enough to accommodate affordable housing, private houses, as well as any other private enterprise that would be of support to the empowerment trajectory for the refugees and host community.
Healthcare also remains one of the main challenges that refugees are facing, and we're seeing government is working at attaining universal health coverage. How does this fall into the Shirika Plan?
Currently, we are affording access to health facility to the refugees, and in the two camps, and also even in urban area, in conjunction with UNHCR, and the implementing agency there is NCCK. That is where the interface between the health facilities. Currently, we are also in the process of construction of a level 4 hospital in Dadaab that will be, once commissioned, will be benefiting the host community as well as the refugee. So we have facilities in the two camps that are run by partners, but increasingly the government is taking over in the sense that it is expanding these facilities. And under the World Bank 40 million grant, that is also a 5-year health resilience program, we are expanding the health facilities. We are enhancing the medical personnel recruitment with an affirmative action to the host community, such that they would, through KMTC, be recruited and go back to support the host community as well as the refugee. And more importantly also, the aspect of medical supply.
Medical supply. Yes. Now, we want to take our first break tonight. Be sure we welcome your feedback. You can get us on our socials at KBC Channel 1 on X there. Any question that you may have, you want addressed by the Commissioner for Refugee Affairs, Mr. John Burugo, he's right there. Now, let's have that commercial break.
Kwa majina naitwa Beatrice Kimai, na mimi ndio nilikuwa mshindi wa Suzuki Wagon R Jenge na Moti. Siri ilikuwa nilicheza, nikacheza na nikamwamini Mungu na nikawa mshindi. Pia sasa bado naendelea kucheza na naamini nitakuwa mshindi wa hili gali.
31st of December 2023, Beatrice alikabidhiwa na kifunguu kama mshindi wa Suzuki Wagon R kwenye campaign ya Jijenge na Moti. Na sasa tuko na Toyota Hiace. Siri yake ilikuwa ni moja, alicheza mara kadhaa, akacheza mara kadhaa na akajaza tickets zake kwenye draw na bahati ikakuwa ni yake. Sasa uko na fursa ya kuvuka na ma3. Fursa yako kwenye *570#. Mshindi namtangaza the 5th of May mwaka huu. Vuka na ma3!
Cheza Lucky Game na tunakuhakikishia ushindi na bahati yako itakufikia mahali popote ulipo. Kumbuka kucheza ni star 570 hash.
From encampment to empowerment, these are the matters that we're discussing tonight. We're joined by the Commissioner for Refugee Affairs, John Barugo. Before we took that break, we were talking about how this Shara Plan has put into consideration matters of access to health. Now let's look at the geopolitical aspect when it comes to refugees. It has not just happened to Kenya or even just the Horn of Africa, so to speak, but we are seeing a rise in political unrest, civil unrest and such. Should Kenya be worried, and what is Kenya's stand when it comes to refugees, given the current dynamics?
Kenya is a signatory to the UN Convention of 1951 and its 1967 protocol, as well as the African Union specific programs, problems to refugee of 1969. Other declarations like the IGAD ones. Let me say that Kenya is just a member of the global community that hosts refugees.
So it will always be open?
It will always be open because that is a policy of the government. And the government has already signed or did commit itself as a member of the global nations that it would host. The refugees that we host today are out of the conflict within the region. And that brings the aspect of how can we build maybe peace. There has been a lot of support to the refugee by the international community, but there has not been an equal contribution towards peace building to the generating countries. Of course, there has been regional bodies like IGAD, East African Community, where we have senior personalities being appointed to as special envoys to create peace, like what is happening in DR Congo, Sudan, South Sudan, and all. However, we feel that there is need for the generated countries. The aspect of, there are three durable solutions. Durable solutions in the sense that there should be voluntary repatriation. When conditions improve of the original countries, there would be also resettlement to third country, depending on the quotas that are available. And the last one is the localization. That is where Shara Plan comes in. But that leaves the biggest chunk of over 600,000 as the burden stroke opportunity by the government of Kenya. And that is where we want to leverage the potential, the capacity, the innovativeness, and the creativity that comes with the refugees.
Okay.
How can we be able to tap? And that is where Shara Plans comes in, so that as we shift from dependency, humanitarian to development, then the refugees would have an opportunity to be productive, to also be contributors to the welfare of Kenya, to be taxpayers. And that is where, as a department, we are progressively documenting them. As I said, we have 747,000 registered. So they have IDs, meaning we have recognized them. But we have one element that is called KYC principle, know your customer. Yes. And therefore, the banks, the financial institutions have not been confident enough with the current legal frameworks. We are engaging them, and as well as Central Bank and National Treasury, to ensure that we have what we call anti-money laundering, counter-terrorism regulations of 2023 to recognize the refugee ID, so that then they can open their accounts, they can transact under the financial ecosystem of the country, and then that way they would be able to set up their businesses.
So now they'll be, if we have that in place, they'll be able to work, because currently we have work permits that are issued by need basis. But now it will, are you saying if we start implementing this, they'll be allowed to work and taxes will be paid to Kenya or to the original country? What happens
the
with
taxes would be payable to Kenyans because they are working in Kenya. They will be registered by KRA.
Yes.
Even today, there are some who are able to do that, albeit under the guise of a Kenyan citizen.
Okay.
Even telephone numbers they do have, but that comes with a lot of risks and challenges. But when we now onboard their data into the integrated population management system, roll out Shara Plan, and integrate them into the financial ecosystem, then they'll be free as Kenyans to integrate, to ensure that they improve their livelihoods. Okay. They will be employable. They can also employ, set up their own businesses. They have capacity. There are those also, a policy that was inaugurated last Friday by His Excellency the Deputy President, recognition for prior running, where the skills that you have are recognizable, accredited, and therefore that enhances your employability and empowerment, and therefore you earn decent living. You do not just rely on humanitarian.
Indeed. And the stipends that we get monthly, are they going to remain or not as we come to a close?
Progressively, as two systems come to an end, they progressively give space. So humanitarian will fizzle down. And as a matter of fact, right now we are on a study to see who are the most vulnerable. We give them 50%. The less vulnerable, we give them 30%. And there are those who are self-reliant, and they get nothing. And progressively, that is what we fizzle. We face that out progressively.
Away from dependency to empowerment, that is a vision that government has under the Shara Plan there. We have been speaking to the Commissioner for Refugee Affairs, Mr. John Burugu. Thank you very much for your time. That puts a cap on Matters Prime Edition this Wednesday. Do sure to tune in as far as the conversations around matters of refugees are concerned.
Back to the future. The future is simulate. Bet smarter. Win faster now. Be a winner. More at Bet.
Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is Kenya's most trusted news and entertainment brand. Grow your business, acquire more clients, and reach new, diverse audiences by advertising with us. We connect brands to audiences that matter, driving results for brands and enhancing your current marketing strategies. We have packages for all needs, and no product is too small for us. Contact us today and capitalize on our combined power of radio, TV, and digital platforms. KBC, connecting Kenyans.
Sports News is brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Kibet, let's now talk sports. The Kenyan government will do everything possible to ensure that the FIA is completely satisfied to retain the Safari Rally Kenya on the WRC series, having missed out for more than 15 years. The 2024 leg of the Safari Rally Kenya will be flagged off tomorrow from the KICC by President William Ruto. Before the flag off, the Talanta Hela Rally Academy was launched this evening at the Kasarani Stadium by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua this evening said that the inauguration of the Talanta Hela Academy at the Kasarani Stadium is in line with the Kenyan government's goal of talent development that will be achieved with proper structures.
By investing in the next generation of motorsport professionals, we are creating opportunities for our youth, driving economic growth and promoting Kenya as a motorsport destination.
The Talanta Hela Academy aims at training Kenyan drivers to eventually attain international standards that will see them compete at the highest level like the WRC. The opening of the academy comes just hours before the flagging off of the 2024 WRC Safari Rally Kenya at the KICC by President William Ruto.
We cherish our position on the World Rally Championship log. For 19 long years, we were in the wilderness of international motorsport outside the World Rally Championship series. We are glad we got back.
The opening of the academy also aligns with the FIA's motto of growing motorsports to be accessible to all without any barriers to any person's dream of engaging in motorsport.
As a governing body for motorsport in the world, we are not just here to write rules and to make them respected. We are here to shine a spotlight of safety and sustainable technologies. But above all, we are here to engage with racing enthusiasts and build pathways for them to the motorsport world at all levels.
At the same time, Lisa Christopherson, the driving force behind the Talanta Hela all-ladies team, says she is ready to lead her team in this year's WRC Safari Rally Kenya.
We're here to empower young women to take charge of their lives by steering in the direction that you want to go, and how better to do it in a male-dominant sport.
Meanwhile, Josiah Kariuki and John Gugi are looking forward to the start of Thursday's WRC Safari Rally Kenya with great expectations. The All-African crew will pilot the ex-Don Smith FIA Africa Rally Championship winning car under Bangmet livery for the second year running.
Thank you, Buckley, for that report. Moving on, Destiny's Child in 2001 released a song named Survivor, and that was referred to by Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs and Creative Economy and the Arts, Ababu Namwamba, after having a shakedown experience at Loldia on the eve of the start of the WRC Safari Rally.
The Priority 1 and 2 crews at the WRC Safari Rally put their cars to extreme tests at the shakedown in Loldia. The competitors would then have their cars set up adjusted to give them a great feel ahead of the start of the rally. Following President William Ruto's shakedown experience last year, Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, the Creative Economy and Sports Ababu Namwamba got to sit with Honda's Esape Kalapi.
Have you ever heard the song I'm a Survivor? I'm a survivor. I survived. My goodness, you guys, you gotta do this. You have to do this to understand what it is that rallying is at this elite level. The speed, the dexterity, the ability to take impossible turns. Absolutely impossible turns. When you think, now this is the end of it, Jehovah, take my hand.
It's always nice to give such a unique experience for, it doesn't matter who it is, because it's such a special moment. I mean, probably even I don't realize it, how quick and fast and how stupid we are in some moments when we are driving. But when I sit to a co-driver's seat, it's completely different. You know, I don't like to be a co-driver at all because it feels horrible.
The ceremonial start of the WRC Safari Rally will take place at the Kenyatta International Convention Center on Thursday, followed by the Kasarani Super Special Stage. KBC Channel 1 will broadcast 5 live stages and also the ceremonial finish at Hell's Gate on the 31st of March. For Prime Edition, I am Daniel Wahome.
Thank you, Wahome, for that detailed report. Finally, reigning Africa Rally Championship champion Karan Patel says his main target is to finish in the middle of the pack in the WRC2 in this year's WRC Safari Rally. Patel will participate in the rally set to zoom off on Thursday morning with the ceremonial start at KICC, driving a Skoda Fabia R5. KBC Channel 1 will broadcast live 5 television stages of the rally.
After a good run at shakedown in Londia, speedster Karan Patel is optimistic of a good outing in this WRC Safari Rally Kenya. Karan Patel will be co-driven by Tausif Khan in a Skoda Fabia 5 and is leaving nothing to chance as he aims to finish the rally among the top drivers in WRC2.
We can't compete with the P1 cars, but with the P2 cars, again, good stiff competition, but we'll see. It's a Safari Rally, so it's a long event.
We would like to have at least top 5 in the WRC2, and if we manage the top 3, that'd be great. But let's see, top 5 in the middle of the pack will be good for us, and if we manage also a top 10 overall, that'd be amazing.
Karan was quick to note that despite a few adjustments, the car is ready for the task ahead. Co-driver Tausif Khan said the WRC Safari Rally offers a good platform to test their abilities ahead of the Africa Rally Championship title defense. Karan Patel will lead Kenya's charge at this year's WRC Safari Rally alongside 5-time Safari Rally winner Carl Flash Tundo, Hamza Anwar, Akif Virani and Samana Vorra, among others. A new champion will be crowned after last year's winner Sebastian Ogier decided to skip this year's event. KBC Channel 1 will broadcast live 5 television stages. After scrutineering at KWS Naivasha and the shakedown in Loldia, the cars left Naivasha for Nairobi ahead of the ceremonial start and the Kasarani Super Special Stage on day 1. Karanja David for Prime Edition Sports in Naivasha.
Thank you very much, Karanja, for that report. And Karanja's report brings us to the end of the sports news tonight. I'll see you tomorrow with more sports news. My name is Karen Kipet. Have yourself a peaceful night. My colleague Regina Manyara will wrap up the bulletin. Good night.
Sports News was brought to you by Mozart Bet.
You can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Well, it is the eve of the global showpiece, so to speak, and KBC Channel 1 is already on ground, ready to bring you what is the 2024 WRC Safari Rally from Naivasha, Nakuru County. You've already met Karanja David there. He's one of our reporters and anchors who are down there in Naivasha for that sporting showpiece, and he's going to be working alongside Daniel Wahome. So if you've not made your way to Naivasha, well, you might as well hang back and enjoy that particular showpiece through your television as well as KBC's various social media platforms. We're going to be televising that live beginning tomorrow, 9 a.m., where we expect the president to flag off the vehicles there. I'm Regina Manyara. My colleague on sign language is Lucy Maura. We wish you a great evening ahead.
Ili kupata mtoa baraka kama sikiza tune yako, bonyeza *812 503 hash.
Wewe, ni kwa nini unafurahia vipaji ili asiye anayetoa? Kwa nini unapenda baraka, humpendi mtoa baraka? Nauliza, ni kwa nini unapenda mchuzi wa papa ila papa mwenyewe humtaki? Ni busara kutambua kuwa ukimpata mtoa baraka.
Kupata mtoa baraka kama sikiza tune, bonyeza *812 503 hash. *812 503 hash.
Kurumisha ndege. Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
KBC Channel 1 imeandaa vipindi spesheli katika mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhan mwaka huu kwa ajili yako.
Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Kando na ukumbi wa Kiislamu na hutuba